A discrete relationship is something where there are just points to represent whatever the relationship is going on about. And there's no reason, or it doesn't make sense, to connect the dots together. A continuous function has an infinite number of elements, and we do draw it with a straight line or some sort of smooth curve. I actually kind of messed that one up a little bit. Kind of curled back on itself, and if you ever curl back on yourself on a function, well, you fail the vertical line test and it's not a function. So it could be smooth, it could be a straight line, right? Both of those things are functions. We start out by plotting points, but we connect them together. So that's the difference, the big difference between discrete and continuous visually. Not connected dots, connected dots. I guess we could say points, but when you're just describing it, it's dots. So we're just talking about it visually. With both of these kinds of graphs, you can use the vertical line test, which I just mentioned a second ago. So if you've got any sort of graph, that's a big crazy graph right there. But if I were to draw a vertical line anywhere along that graph, I would only ever hit it once. Vertical line one time, you're a function. If you ever have something like a z-shape for your graph, see, one vertical line cuts it right there, and this spot, it hits it twice, just that enough right there. Vert line hits more than one time, not a function. And I mean, over in another spot here, you can see it even hits 3 times, so it's definitely not a function. But you only ever need that to happen once to cancel out whether or not it's a function. But that's the idea of the vertical line test. Example 2. The graph shows the length of the Tour de France, or as my uncle says, the Tour de France, in kilometers each year from 2000 to 2009. Is the relation discrete or continuous? Does the graph represent a function? Well, when we take a look here, the graph is just made up of a bunch of points, which is definitely going to suggest discrete. But we have to think, is there a reason why these points would ever need to be connected together? And does it make sense that between the years that there's other races, like if we were to connect them together, and I'll erase this in a second, if I were to connect these 2 years together, would it make sense that between the 2 years where this big race is happening, there's another version of the race that's happening that's every day is slightly decreasing in length? No, that doesn't make any sense at all. So here it is definitely discrete. Does the graph represent a function? Well, like I'm going to have to draw them because that way you can see them on the paper. But one thing you can do is hold your pencil straight up and down and then run it over the page. If it's ever covering 2 points at the same time, not a function. Good, good, good. See, it's very annoying to have to do this on the computer. Normally I just look at it with my pencil. Yeah, none of those ever hit a point on the graph twice. So, it is a function. All right.